In the history of man, there has been an elite list of things that go perfectly hand in hand. Peanut butter and jelly, mac and cheese, beer and pizza, the Captain and Tennille, and now you can add shitty hip-hop and voodoo to that list, because we watched The Horrible Dr. Bones. We watched it so you don't have to, so you know what time it is. Welcome back, Moon Goons! We back. I'm your host, Mr. Lord Marshall Hampton, and with me is my loyal subject, Mr. Aaron Southworth, and I forgot to introduce the name of the show you're actually listening to right now, because it's been a while. You're listening to the Horrible Horror Podcast, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies so bad they're scary. And now I would normally introduce myself as your host, but I just did that, so I'm going to move on. But we are back after a little bit of a hiatus we took to start off the year. We had just some personal stuff to attend to and to recharge the batteries. But we're back, we're excited, and we're kicking off Black History Month, coming in hot, super hot, if you will, with a little ditty called The Horrible Dr. Bones. Now, before we get into this movie proper, Aaron has a little something he would like to, I think he's going to drop some knowledge on us, or I don't know, he's got something he wants to say in regards to Black History Month and the celebration of black culture and film in the film industry. So Aaron, whatever it is you got, let's hear it, buddy.
Man, you took up all that intro, didn't you?
What?
You took up all that intro. I didn't get a word in. You just soaked it all in. But yeah, we're back. It's been a month off. I needed to recharge my batteries. I know other people did too. I'm doing pretty good. I got the vaccine, waiting for the second dose. Pretty excited. Hopefully by March 6th, I'll be in studio again.
Hopefully. That'd
be
so
very
nice.
exciting. That'd be very, very cool. All right. But yeah, it is Black History Month. We do movies of the horrible horror variety for black horror movies. But I just kind of wanted to talk about actual good, horror movies from black directors. I mean, with Black History Month upon us, it'd be kind of nice to know about some lesser known directors of horror movies. And I'm going to stay away from like the blaxploitation films like Blackula, which was directed by William Crane, or more of the modern urban horror movies like Tales from the Hood, directed by Rusty Cundiff, but perhaps movies that you didn't know were directed by African Americans. Movies like Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, directed by Ernest R. Dickerson. Demon Knight has become a bit of a cult classic, even if it didn't receive much love upon its initial release. This was the first feature film of the powerhouse that was Tales from the Crypt. This is HBO. This is a big name. It was... And being a horror film targeted towards the general public, it was one of the first, and I still think one of the few horror movies with a black final girl, Jada Pinkett Smith. It honestly didn't click with me at the time. I really didn't take notice because I was enjoying the movie for the movie's sake, and that's part of the charm of Demon Knight. I still really like the movie. I think it's badass, and I think it's good for everyone to enjoy. Plus, it features the Gravediggers, which is awesome.
Gravediggers.
Next is the Hughes brothers, Albert and Alan Hughes. Now, these guys have made some pretty famously black films like Menace to Society and Dead Presidents, but they also made a fabulous horror period piece set in London, the year 1888, a movie depicting the first truly famous serial killer, Jack the Ripper. The movie is From Hell. Love this movie. And this movie has no black cast members, and it's set in a different country over 100 years ago.
Yeah, that's
and
the
Hughes brothers.
That's the Johnny Depp one, right? With Heather Graham, I think.
I'm sorry?
That's the Johnny Depp, Heather Graham movie, right? From Hell?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that one. That was a good movie.
Yeah, I think they do an amazing job of putting you in the back alleys of Whitechapel, showing the grimy underworld of prostitutes, corrupt politician, and the perversion of the church. In fact, I think it was in fact, that this movie was directed by two brothers from Detroit only speaks to their skills as director. I love this movie. And then last but not least, I mean, everyone knows this name, and he doesn't necessarily make non-black films, is Jordan Peele. While his movies have centered around African-American characters, he invites everyone to come along while not shying away from topics of race and privilege. In Get Out, it blended centuries-old long pain of African Americans and their bodies being owned as slaves, and it mixed that with the actual horror element of having your body possessed or stolen from you, again, by privileged white folks. It shows that African Americans have been through, with arriving in this country, slavery, manipulation, medical experimentation, but it does it with a modern context through the lens of brilliant horror film. And then there was Us, which, had the rise of the tethered, who are people from the, who are just like the people from the quote unquote real world, but experience sadness, pain instead of joy and happiness. They are doppelgangers, wanting to experience the quote unquote real world. But obviously, this is kind of a metaphor for many people of color in the United States. He does this all while blending heart, humor, and horror masterfully. I look more forward to come. But those are just a few I wanted to highlight. I think those are some very, the first two definitely are, not, they're movies made for the general public, not necessarily targeted towards a black audience. And where Jordan Peele, he makes it, again, he has black characters, but he does, I think, invites everyone along, and it's always been a good ride. So I just wanted to give credit where credit's due.
All right. Well, there you have it. And on that note, let's dive in.
Now this one, however, I'm not giving any credit to this goddamn thing. The horrible Dr. Bones. I'm gonna be an equal opportunity motherfucker on this one because goddamn does this suck.
This horrible Dr. Bones, as the movie we're doing, it was released on April 25th of 2000. You can find it. You can find it on Amazon right now. But it's not on Prime. You have to either rent it or buy it for like $4. But you can watch it on Tubi for free. Is Woo! What we did. So thank you for Tubi for coming up in the clutch on that one.
Yeah, big time.
It's written by Raymond Fortian. Don't know how to pronounce it. Whatever. Directed by Ted Nicolao. Under the name Art Carnage. Now, unlike the movies Aaron just named, this guy is total white dude directing this movie, not a black guy. But he's got 43 director credits, including movies called Bunker of Blood 2, Devil Dolls, Aliens Gone Wild. He also did Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys and Terror Vision, or other movies he's directed. Some people you guys might have heard of.
Dude, Terror Vision. I really want to see that movie. I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten around to watching it yet either. I need to.
Do you remember The Killer Eye?
Of course I remember The Killer Eye.
But it was filmed in Terror Vision.
Yes, in Terror Vision. The cast, there are only two people I wrote down just based on they have some experience and have done some things that you may have seen them in. The character Rasha, who I don't even know who that is, honestly. I don't even remember what character that is, but this girl, Nicole Pulliam, she was in an episode of Saved by the Bell, the new class, for you old school guys out there. But she was also in Killjoy 2, Deliverance from Evil, where she played Cece, quote unquote, Cece Washington, or Cecilia Cece Washington. And she's made appearances on TV shows like Teen Wolf, Shameless, Bones, Ray Donovan, Young and the Restless, and Power Rangers Wild Force. So she's done some stuff. And then our main girl, Lisa, is played by Sarah Scott Davis. She's got 26 credits, including 7 episodes of The Newsroom. She one appearance on the old Drew Carey show. She was in Don King, Only in America. And supposedly she was featured party zombie in Dead Alive. And she played Tanisha in Phantasm 3. So there's a few other...
if I remember correctly, you loved the Drew Carey show.
I did. I was a big fan of that show. Loved it. Thought it was one of my favorites back in the day.
It just seems so odd. That was one that resonated with you.
Well, and probably because I looked like the guy. I had shaved, kind of shaved it, flat top, big fat head, and black glasses. Every guy, I looked like Drew Carey.
Now when you say that, it makes total sense.
He was the fat funny guy who somehow still managed to get hot girls, which I never understood, but that was what I dreamed of. So I left
that
out.
part did not resonate with you.
No. That's why I was like, oh, I can dream someday, maybe. Anyway, those are the only people in the cast I wrote anything about. So not much to go on there.
Well, Dr. Bones, he was in a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
too.
Dr. Bones, I forget the guy's name. He's been in a lot of stuff. Like, he's got a long body work, but like nothing that I remember being like substantial or remember. Like it was like a ton of TV shows, like a one spot here, one spot there, one spot there. Just nothing like you'd ever like really stick out. But he has been working for a while on one and done stuff. So I don't know. So anyway, let's get into here we go. The horrible Dr. Bones. So we're going to come in hot. So sit back because we got a lot. This opening cracks me. Okay, so we open. As soon as you press play, we watch this on Tubi. We'll keep that in mind. So you press play, and the first thing you get is a trailer / ad for a whole nother movie called Ragdoll, which is like about a voodoo killer doll or something like that. So this trailer is like 5 minutes long. That's a long ass trailer to kick off a movie. And then after the trailer, then you think we're gonna get the movie, right? No, we get a fucking commercial for the doll, for like the collector toy doll from the movie Ragdoll, which you can buy on fullmoontoys.com. And the commercial itself is pretty much just another trailer for the movie that you just saw. So after the toy commercial's over, you get another commercial, and this time it's for the soundtrack of the movie Ragdoll. And I'm like, holy fuck, I have never seen this before, ever, in a movie.
And
there's
again,
like this many ads before the movie even starts. It's insane. So at this point, we're like 7 minutes into the runtime of pressing play, and it's all commercials. And so after 7 minutes of commercials, you guys want to guess what comes next? Another fucking commercial. This one is for the Dr. Bones collectible toy doll, which you can buy for $19.99 plus $4.99 shipping and handling from fullmoontoys.com back in 2000.
And mind you, it's only made from the finest material.
The finest plastic and cloth, I think is what they actually say.
Oh my God. Dude, I didn't know we would talk about this, but I remember like looking at the runtime for this movie. And it was an hour and 51 minutes, and I texted Marshall like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah, there's a reason I didn't text back. It's like, oh, we'll let him find out on his own about this one.
But then once I started seeing the commercials roll in, I'm like, "Oh, that motherfucker."
Okay, so now that commercial
like
ends.
An hour 15 minutes.
So that commercial ends, and it has to be time for the actual movie now, right? Because we've gotten like 5 commercials now. But fuck no, it ain't, because we get another commercial for the horrible Dr. Bones soundtrack this time. And I'm like, holy shit, this is not happening. Like, are we getting punked? Because this blows my mind that we've had set through like almost 15 to 20 minutes worth of like commercials and trailers for other shit before the movie even starts.
Oh yeah, it's easily 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's easily 20 minutes of commercials for the movie you're about to watch.
Okay, well actually it's 10 minutes. I have it written down. So after finally 10 minutes of commercials and ads and trailers. So but it feels like 20.
I want to check your math because I felt 20 minutes there, brother. And dude, I looked up some of these, like I looked for the dolls. I looked for the soundtracks online. I couldn't find them.
Well, this was back in 2000, yeah.
I didn't do a deep dive. I just kind of looked for one.
So finally the movie starts. After like 10, 15 minutes of ads and stuff, it finally starts. And we open with a crash. It's just a monotone mess. And it's kind of hard to read. They're really shitty. Once they're over, we see a woman in like a little black dress and sunglasses, this black girl. She's leading this like 20-something guy. I shouldn't say the entire cast is black. It's an urban cast. They're all black. So this woman in a black dress and sunglasses is leading this 20-something-year-old dude down this hallway to a door at the end that says no admittance. And through the door they go, and downstairs, she takes him down some stairs, and the end is like this empty brick, concrete looking, unfinished basement warehouse type looking room.
Right.
And we see Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones there, along with another woman and a guy standing in like a sound booth, like behind the glass of what's like a makeshift sound booth. And they're looking out at the 20-something that just came in. They're looking at him. The girl in the black dress and the sunglasses gives the dude some rolled up cash out of her dress. And it's just like a $10 bill because he opens up and it looks like a 10. He's like, here's her $10, and she leaves. The woman in the sound booth next to Dr. Bones asks the new guy, like, hey, are you ready? Dr. Bones tells her to play the music, and you get some real generic hip hop beats start playing. Random dude starts bopping his head to the beat. He's like, yeah, all right, he's dancing a little bit. Bones tells the woman next to him to double the gain. And this causes the dude to grab his head in pain, and then he starts flinging his arms around, and he's screaming in pain, and his head begins to like distort and like become all wavy, and it grows and shrinks, and it's really weird effect. The dude just stands there screaming and twitching and flailing around, and his body and arms start to just do that same distortion, weird, warping effect. And God, the effects are so fucking cheesy and bad. They're terrible, but in like an enjoyable kind of way. They're terrible. I'm like, okay, all right, we know this is gonna be bad. But eventually the dude's head just fucking explodes in a horribly lame special effect. This one is actually really bad, not really fun bad, it's just bad. So he's dead. His head just explodes. His body falls to the floor. Blood spurts out his neck stump. And this frustrates Dr. Bones, who says another experiment failed. And then now we just cut to the outside of Dr. Bones' nightclub.
Yeah, all right, but I just want to talk about Let's just break it down a little bit. I want to talk about Dr. Bones. I like Dr. Bones' style. I mean, he's an older gentleman,
probably
very
in his 50s,
thin,
early
always
60s.
Wearing suits, looks nice and pressed. He's got some nicely manicured dreads. It's one of like a few guys who can pull off dreads and look classy. Because
his dread wig looked like somebody just plopped a mop top on top of him.
I like his dreads. They're thin and clean, not thick and like full of crap.
I'll give you that. They're not Rastafarian dreads. They're more modern.
Like
I'll give you that, but
yeah. Anyway, but he speaks well. He's got a cool cane. I'm a fan of Dr. Bones. The effect you were talking about when the guy's head was about to explode, first thing I fucking thought of, Black Hole Sun, 1990, like 394.
Yes! Yeah, it's very Black Hole Sun.
Wavy, weird, it would distort the face and distort, making eyes bigger and mouths smile bigger.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, that's Black Hole Sun effects.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Good call on that, man. Good pullback on that one. So we go outside of the club, and we see a sign advertising like open band auditions today or something like that. And like these two like urban looking Secret Service agents guys. There's like two guys dressed in like black clothes with sunglasses on, bouncer. I don't know.
It's the Black Matrix.
Yeah, it's kind of like Black Matrix. Yeah,
it's Black Matrix because the girls got like sunglasses, the black dress.
Yeah,
dudes are dressed nice with black sunglasses. It's Black Matrix.
Yeah, I call it Black Secret Service, but yeah, same thing. Yeah, pretty much. So inside the venue in the club, some band's playing their audition while Bones and his female partner sit in the back watching them. Aaron mentioned just briefly, but he always carries around this crappy looking cane. As I thought, it has like shitty looking skull on the top of it, like at the top of the handle, like is this golden skull, but it's not quite a human skull, and it doesn't look very good in my opinion.
It's like an alien skull.
Yeah,
or something.
It's like a weird alien skull or something. It doesn't.
Or a squirrel skull.
Or a squirrel skull, a very large squirrel, maybe a raccoon skull. But so we go back outside and we meet our main group of characters as they get out of their minivan. There's two guys and two girls that make up the band called the Urban Protectors. And the third guy is...
It sounds like a Saturday morning black crime fighting team.
It does. It sounds like an early 90s black superhero movie or something like superhero cartoon. Urban Protectors. And then there's the third guy who's kind of like their manager / agent named Jamal. And he's
a sound guy. He knows that Urban Protectors sound.
Yes.
He's the only one. Apparently, he's got the magic fingers that can make him sound good.
Yeah. And we're going to put good in quotation marks here. And he's dating or banging the lead singer of the group, Lisa. They grab their gear. They grab like 2 guitars and they start heading inside. The first band finishes up their audition and leaves. And now we get treated to another shitty music audition, this time by some generic hip hop guy that we have to suffer through like his entire song, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's the entire thing.
We didn't mention before, we had to watch the whole performance of the first people when Dr. Bones was watching.
Yeah.
And then this dude gets up, we watch his whole performance, and then the fucking Urban Protectors get up, and we'll get to that,
but I mean, it's so blatantly obvious they are padding the shit out of the runtime with this useless musical performances by these no-name guys. Because, I mean, it's fucking terrible, and I would understand it more watching a full performance if they actually got like, you know, some kind of like real rapper, somebody with some kind of name value like Busta Rhymes or Nelly. But you know, they just got like some no-name dude up there, you know, whatever. But if they're gonna, I don't know, it sucks. It sucks. Anyway, as Aaron said, up next are the Urban Protectors. Jamal introduces himself to Bones and his partner, who we finally learned the girl's name is Theodora, is Bones' partner in crime. And well, we already talked. I had some notes about his dreadlocks, his wig, but we already talked about that a bit. So we'll move on. Jamal mentioned.
Hey, real quick,
yeah.
I do want to talk about real fast. What is it with our horrible horror Black History Month movies and always being involved in bands or some sort of entertainment? Crips, last one we did, those guys were aspiring rappers. They were going to be like Wu-Tang, if you remember.
Yeah.
Holla 2, it was a band. They were on the road. They just got done with a club show in the very beginning. We also did Holla If I Kill You. Now, that wasn't a band.
Yeah.
It wasn't a band, but it was still stand-up comedy, still in like the entertainment world.
Def Jam.
And then,
it was basically
Def Jam. And then in Holla 1, the one girl had a TV show, like a Sister type TV show. Again, in entertainment. What is it with these fucking urban horror movies where they can't help but just stereotype cosplay themselves as like, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm a rapper, I'm a TV star. It's like, Jesus Christ, can't people be normal?
Yeah.
Can't they just like work in IT or something?
Well, you kind of had that in the first Killjoy. They were just
ghetto
people.
They were students.
They were students in the ghetto, and we had the gangsters. The white gangsters who were trying to rap. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. Yeah, a lot of them are. Like, almost all of them have been that way.
It's like when I saw they were a band, I'm like, fuck, I've seen this a million times.
Yeah. And we're going to see it again. So, Jamal mentions to Bones that his group usually perform in costume. And he's like, hey, is there a place for them to change into? And Bones like, don't worry about that now. We can get to that later. Just have them play. So
I really wanted to know what kind of costumes they were wearing.
Yeah.
Like, I was hoping it'd be something silly and fun and weird.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was just going to be... But, like, what a weird thing to say, like, costume.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to that later because I want to talk more about that. So the UP take the stage. Jamal heads into the mixing booth along with Theodora. And now, again, we're treated to another full-length music performance. It sucks just like all the others. But at this one, I'm going to play you the music clip so you can actually hear what the quote-unquote urban protectors are supposed to be and how great they are. And,
so you need to suffer through this as well.
Yeah,
so.
Feel free to fast forward if you do not want to listen, but I am going to play the clip.
Do not play the whole song, Marshall. Do not play the whole song.
Do not play. What do you mean the whole song? We're going to play it.
Play the whole song.
We are so happy to be here.
Just give us a taste.
I guarantee you will not be disappointed.
Oh, you're going to be disappointed.
The
What is this magic? Under your spell. Lately I've had dreams of your body. I wake up hot in a cold sweat. What is this magic? You know that you got me. One look at you and it gets me all wet. You put a spell on my body. You put a spell on my soul. You put
You know, I do think they had the right instruments that added up to the band. You know, they had a drummer, a keyboard player, and a bass player.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I was gonna say, cause it's funny because they bring in like guitars, like 2 guitars, but there's only 1 bass player. There's no lead guitar or rhythm player. It's just 1 bass player, a drummer, and a keyboard. Which they never bring those. They just carry in 2 guitars and they go. And I thought that was funny too. But this is pretty much the whole song. Hey nanny nanny, hey nanny nana, hey nanny nanny, you fell my body, hey nanny nanny. This is like the entire song. It goes on for like 2.5 minutes. And we're at 1 minute and 20 seconds right now. It goes on for like another minute of just, hey nanny nanny, you blah blah blah.
Why are you gonna torture us?
Because that's what this show's about. No. Alright. All right, so I'll fade it out. That is pretty much their song. That is their big hit. That's their big number.
Yeah, you guys get it. You guys get it. You know what they're about. That's their.
That's all you. I mean, once that garbage finally ends, Bones gives them a standing ovation, saying that was it. That was the one.
He is pumped. He's clapping. Yes, that's the sound I've been looking for. Yes.
Yeah.
Like he discovered fucking gold in their hills. He is excited.
So Bone asks what's the name of the lead singer. Asks the lead singer what's her name. You know, Lisa. And then Lisa introduces the rest of the band. The other girl, the keyboard player is Wanda. And then we have Pookie and Phil. Which one's which? I don't fucking know. I don't know who's who. I'm assuming Pookie's the chubby drummer, I think, and Phil's the bass player. That's my guess. Jamal gets a little pissed when Bone kisses Lisa's hand. He's like, "Oh, you moving into my girl? You know, you better step off." That kind of shit. Lisa's hair. It looks like she got like spark plugs going across the top of her head. It's really weird hairstyle. Like a bunch of I don't know. It's weird. It's odd. Bone says that he's found his new band and tells him to come by the office tomorrow to sign all the paperwork and promises that he's going to make them all very, very rich. So at this point, in comes this other guy named Maxie White. He's doing a slow clap. He's like, yeah, good job. Now, we kind of get that Bones and Maxie have some kind of like beef or rivalry going or something.
He is the rival club owner, and he's biting off of Dr. Bones' auditions. He's snaking the competition.
Yes, he's trying to scoop up that talent. And this doesn't sit well with Bones, and Bones gets him out, and Maxie leaves, and Bones calls him a bottom-feeding scavenger. The UP exit the building. They load back all their stuff back in the van. They're all excited, pumped up about their success. You know, oh, we did it. We got it. But Jamal's hesitant. And he's like, we get to watch this. We should be careful. I don't really trust Bones. We don't get too excited yet. And they all start, at that point, they all share a toast and drink from some kitty paper cups. That's their big toast, like these little kitty paper cups. Kind of shitty.
I kind of liked it. Honestly, I kind of liked it because they arrived in a minivan. They're a struggling band. They have like a cheap bottle of booze and some like little cups to do a toast. I thought that was actually kind of charming.
Okay. Jamal says that they need to be careful because there's something about Bones he just doesn't trust. But at this point,
he doesn't trust Bones' slick fingers getting into his woman's poo-na-ni-na.
Yeah.
How's that go? Poo-na-ni-na-na? How'd that song go?
I don't know. I don't think it's poo-na-ni-na. I think it's hey-na-ni-na. But yeah, I like your rendition better.
He's scared of getting in that poo-na-ni-na then.
So, but of course, all the other members of the bands, they don't want to hear it. They're like, whatever, we make it. Don't ruin this for. At this point, Maxie White, he comes back. He approaches the band, tells them that even though he doesn't have the same money and resources Bones does, or the radio station, apparently Dr. Bones has his own radio station now too. Max says he offers a fair deal and no one ever has to come chase him for a buck. He tells them that if things don't work out with Bones, like he's got several clubs, he'd love to book them in and have them play. And then Maxie gives him his card and leaves.
I love his plug.
I like
have
this
as much
plot too.
money.
Like, I don't really mind Max. If he's supposed to be like he's bottom feeding scum sucker, like he's not. He's like doing his things. Like he's just out there hustling. He's working.
But I love this. I don't have as much money. I don't have as many clubs. I don't have a radio station. But I'll pay you.
I'll pay you an honest, fair wage or fee, honest salary, honest worth, and you never have to come chase me for a buck. I always honor my debts, basically, and I'll get you playing.
Well, here's a question, Marshall.
Yeah.
Would you rather get paid more than you're worth than get paid what you're worth?
Well, of course you're going to say more than, but you got to also think about who's paying you. Like, are you making the deal with the devil, or you making deal a straight up deal where there's no consequences and you just, so yeah, you got to balance that out too. That's part of the equation.
Dr. Bones just wants to get up at that Punani.
Yeah.
And Jamal's just not having it. He's
He
just
not.
a fucking spoil sport.
We cut back inside Bones' club where we see a guy dressed in black. He kind of looks like one of the, Men in Black or the Black Secret Service. One of those guys. We've never seen him before.
Matrix.
He stumbles into view, choking and gagging. He bounces off the stage, falls onto the floor right in front of the camera, and we see his face is covered in blood and looks kind of like burnt or something. Like something, he's got some trauma to his face, but it's shitty makeup, so you can't really tell. The guy twitches around the floor for a while, and we see Theodora along with the other guy we saw in the basement sound booth with Bones and them come out from behind a pillar. They kneel down next to the guy on the floor. Bones walks out from behind the pillar, now followed by this entourage of Black Secret Service guy, like his crew. Like there's just there's like a dozen of them just come out from behind his pillar all of a sudden. All of his cronies. And Bones says something like, it's your time, Alexander. It's time to you to retire or something like that.
You've been a great servant. You've been loyal. You've been one of my best.
Yeah, I didn't really get all of it. I couldn't make out all of it. But then Bones holds up one of the cheapest and fakest looking like human hearts I've ever seen. It's really bad. This thing is like dollar store bad. Like it's terrible. And I guess it's supposed to be Alexander, the guy on the floor, is his heart. Because Bone like squeezes it in his hand, which causes Alexander's head to start to like wiggle and distort, like we saw the guy in the basement in the beginning.
The
and then,
black hole sun effects.
Yeah, and then like a swarm of like tiny black bats or insects or what the fuck? Who knows what comes flying out of the heart? And then Bones just says, "Rest in peace." The dude dies. He just dies then. I don't think his head explodes. He just dies. And Bones orders his minions to dispose of the body. After the body's dragged off screen, Bones and Theodora have a quick conversation. Something about the old ways versus her new science. I don't really know. I didn't get it all. It doesn't matter. Fuck it. We cut to Lisa and Jamal back at their place, arguing more about Bones and his deal that he's offering. They argue for a while. We learned Bones' full name is actually Nathaniel Hawthorne Bones, which I thought was kind of funny and odd.
Classy name. He's also a doctor, Marshall.
Apparently he's a doctor of something. I don't know why, but they call him Dr. Bones. And maybe he's like a Dr. Dre. Like, I just call himself doctor. I don't know.
A doctor of thugonomics, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, he's John Cena all of a sudden. And then we just jump back to that door that says no admittance. We go back to there, and we go down to the basement where Bones, who's now wearing, instead of like the white suit, we saw where he's wearing like a black and red ceremonial like robe, and his face looks like it was put through a cheese grater.
Yeah.
And he's doing like this sound check with Theodora. He's like, check. And it's really weird. And he's also got like these like 6 tiny little like chicken bones or femurs or something like that, like stuck on his face. And it's not like all around his face. It's just like on one side. It's like his forehead and then down his like right cheek. It's like these 6 bones. It's really weird and it looks shitty. Like, it doesn't look good. He holds up his skull cane, which glows brighter and brighter, and eventually causes like a whiteout on the screen. So, what? Like, that's a weird fucking scene. Like, what the hell is going on? What is the point of this? He's doing a sound check. Yeah. I don't know.
Why did they do that? Why did they like have this brief, ridiculous little moment and show Dr. Bones in this horrible, like, bizarre, demonic state? When obviously it's going to come back later. Why would you, like, reveal it?
Yes, that's exactly my point. That's what I was going to say. Like, it was way too soon. I mean, everybody know the horrible Dr. Bones. You know he's the bad guy from the beginning. But there's no need to reveal that side of him so soon and in such a meaningless scene.
Right.
There's no reason for that. Should have been his regular old white suit wearing normal dude down there doing a sound check, and that would have been fine. But there's no reason for the weird bloody voodoo look, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, it was a waste. It's way too soon. So now we jump to all the members of the Urban Protectors dressed in their pajamas, who have been mysteriously teleported to some large concrete room. What the fuck?
Yes.
Like, what is going on?
This is the Urban Protectors sans Jamal. No Jamal.
Yes, no
Jamal's
Jamal.
not there.
No Jamal. Bones pops up looking normal again. So again, no reason for him not to look, for him to look that way, but he's all normal again. And he starts telling them they're all in his dream. So now he's got, like, I guess, Freddy Krueger powers, or he's pouring them into his dream or something. Again, he starts, and they're all like in like this trance, like they're not yet. They're just like, what's going on? And he tells them all that they're going to be superstars. I'm going to make you rich. And then one by one, he seems to start putting them all in like some kind of trance or something.
Ugh.
And he starts like preying on their like greatest financial desires and their worries. And like, he's, doing that weird shit.
Their dark secrets.
Yeah. And he starts like mentally breaking them down one by one so that they'll be more willing to sign his contract tomorrow morning. And this goes on for a while because he literally goes to each person. Each person has like a 5 minute, or well, it feels like 5 minutes, but like 2 to 5 minute like monologue, a breakdown of like their inner desires or fears or childhood trauma or bullshit that doesn't fucking matter. It gets really boring pretty quickly.
Well, the reason it was boring is because they wasted it. They wasted a good opportunity to actually give a little bit of insight into the characters. Perfect example, you have the Pookie character who's like, your mother used to beat you. That's why all you did was play music. And they would do a flash, but it's just right back to them. Why don't do a flash to like a drunk mom slapping her kid who's playing drums in the house or something? And then Pookie's like, I love my mom. I love my mom. And it's like, yeah, but you don't feel that you loved her. And then there's another flash, but we're right back there.
Yeah.
And we're right back there. And it's like, you could have, apparently what happened is Pookie, like, was arguing with his mom. She was drunk. He pushed her. She fell down the stairs and died. This is a very traumatic thing to talk about. And you can so easily show it in flashback scenes. Well, but they never did. All they did was have a conversation between Bones and Pookie. They did the same thing with the keyboard girl who's like, I never got the dates in school. I was always a nerd. People thought I was too black. They're like talking about her being too African looking.
Oh my God. Okay. Her thing. I'm sorry. Hers was so lame. First of all, I will say, yeah, they could have shown something, but on a micro budget, maybe they didn't have the budget or the time to shoot those extra scenes. But they could have done like maybe like a voiceover of like the mom, just a voiceover screaming at him or yelling at him and voiceover. That would have been fine.
Yes.
But the girl, Wanda, she's like, man, I never got any dates because all the guys in my school, they just wanted them Barbie dolls with them flat stomachs and great asses and skinny bodies. I'm like, and you look at her like, bitch, that's what you are. You're skinny with a flat stomach and a big butt. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
you're not an ugly girl. Like, shut up. Like, it's the worst.
She's pretty hot.
It's the worst excuse. Like, it's so bad. Like, it should have been Pookie saying, I never got the dates because I've always been this chubby kid.
Yes.
And then maybe Wanda was the one with the bad parents or something.
Yes.
That would have made more sense. Not like the hot girl complained she couldn't get dates because she was she was exactly what the guys were looking for? Like, that's
too dark, too dark skinned. I mean, she's darker than Lisa, but she's not like Wesley Snipes dark.
No, or So anyway, and of course, it does. And all this is bad enough, but the acting is also pretty terrible. It's pretty low caliber throughout all this, which makes it even more difficult to sit through. So finally, the scene ends with which Bones releasing them from their dream, from the dream world, and we cut to Maxie White and some chick like he's hitting on, or they're on a date with or something, walking down the street together. They get to his car, they make out a bit, and then they get blinded by like a bright light, and
like a fucking spotlight.
Yeah, it's like a floodlight, just wow, right on. I'm like, what the fuck? Maxie tells the girl to get into the car, and she does, as up pulls Bones' limo. So those were headlights there. Those were some big ass fucking headlights in that fucking bright. Bones and his goons get out of the limo, and Bones confronts Maxie about his talent poaching ways. He's like, I'm tired of you poaching my talent, blah, blah, blah. Which, whatever, I don't know. Bones silences Maxie by holding up his skull cane. The eyes of the cane grow red, and then Maxie starts choking as a white light forms around his neck or out of his mouth or something.
He's basically force choking him with a cane.
Yeah, it's basically, that's a good way of putting it. That's a really good way of putting it. And so again, they start using that weird black hole sun distorting effect on Maxie's neck and his face. The girl in the car starts screaming. Maxie drops to his knees, clenching at his throat. Bones orders his thugs to take Maxie to the car, so the two male goons grab Maxie, drag him off screen, and then like the chick goon, she reaches into the car and just strangles the black chick in the car and kills her. Like, just Ram Girl, you're dead, whatever. So Ram Girl's dead. We jump to the next day. We get some Dr. Bones radio show voiceover before we go back to Bones' club as the Urban Protectors arrive for their meeting with Bones to sign their big contract, their big deal. Before they head inside, they do gather around for a little prayer circle outside, which, okay.
Yeah.
That was weird, but lame. I stupid, but whatever. Inside, Theodora gives them a proper tour of the club. She leads them down into the basement, telling them that it's under construction, and eventually it will be used for TV broadcasting. Because so many TV broadcast stations are in a basement, because that's great.
Aren't you in a basement?
But I'm not broadcasting TV. I'm not broadcasting TV, and we're not broadcasting live either. We're recording this. So anyway, they come to this large metal door covered in white voodoo symbols. Jamal's like, hey, what's this for? What's up with that? And Theodore's like, that's Bob. But before she can answer, Op Pup's Bones, saying that is his private workroom.
Yeah, and the whole time, Jamal's being a fucking stick in the mud. The whole band's like, holy shit, dressing rooms. We got a back room. We got a green room. We're going to be playing on this great stage. The sound recorder is going to be great. And Jamal's like, man, he's just being a fucking little bitch the whole time.
Yeah. Bone takes them to their quote-unquote new studio, where Theodore turns on the speakers, which are so loud that it hurts the Urban Protectors' heads. She laughs at this and then says, I could blow your head off with these speakers. And which, okay, maybe foreshadowing? No. Fun. They dropped the ball on that one. You think, okay, cool, we're getting some heads. Nope. But I guess it maybe relates to the guy's head exploding in the opening scene, but it's...
but she basically just tells what should have happened.
Yeah, what should have happened, but doesn't. Upstairs, they all sit down at a table and go over the contract, which is wait till we get to the deal of this contract. It's pretty fucking shitty for them to say, I'm going to make you rich. You're going to be superstars. So Bone tells them they will all get $25,000 as a signing bonus each.
That's big. That's a big signing bonus.
And then they'll get $100,000 over 3 years.
Whoa. That's $300. That's like $33,000 and change a year. That's so low.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's shitty. Along with for 3 years and a percentage of record sales, which based on that music we just heard, ain't not gonna be a very high royalty check coming in for those guys. This is the shittiest deal, especially for somebody who's like, if you guys, he's like, these are the next big stars. You're my guys. I'm gonna make you rich. If you're gonna entice them and use them for your evil deeds, fucking entice them. Offer them like, here's fucking $1 million or something. Like, here's $100,000 over 3 years. Like,
yeah, it's like their signing bonus is almost the equivalent of a year's worth of work.
Yeah, like, what is like? You get a better job working at like fucking like I don't know UPS right now than you get this. Like,
yes,
it's the
UPS
shittiest deal.
Truck driver will make more money than the fucking urban protector.
A UPS driver can make like 6 figures. Like a cross-country truck driver can make 6 figures easily.
It should have been $100,000 a year.
Yeah, that a year then maybe. Yeah, but not over 3 years.
That's what it should have been.
Yeah, and then at this point, Jamal notices that he's pretty much being left out of the deal and kind of being pushed aside.
Jamal's their best. They're just like, dude, this is not a good contract.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, this is not a good contract. And they're like, shut up, Jamal. This is our big ticket. Like, guys, this isn't a good contract. But anyway, the band pressures him into going along with it for the sake of the band. And then Bones also tells the group that they will be part of a live worldwide broadcast. But first, he wants them to play for a small gathering that he's having like later tonight or something. And then he hands them all like a check. So we cut back to Lisa and Jamal back at their place again. Still talking about Bones and his motives and trying to convince Lisa not to do this. But they end up just making out on the couch. And I guess they end up banging because we fade to black. That's the whole scene. We go back to the club as all the guests are arriving. They're getting seated in front of the stage. In the sound booth, we have Theodora. She tells Bones that they're just about ready to begin the tests. And she reminds him that he has to perform the ritual at the same time that the source music is being performed, and that she'll mix it in with the music so no one will ever be able to tell. What? Sure, why not? Meanwhile, the members of the UP they're in their dressing room getting ready for their big performance. Bones pops up in Lisa's dressing room with a bowl of fruit. Odd, but okay, here's a bowl of fruit. And he kind of gets
nothing gets a black chick more excited than a bowl of fruit.
Yeah. So he gets kind of pervy and creepy here a little bit. He's like telling Lisa how good she looks, and he's getting a little weird.
A little handsy.
A little handsy. And she's
verbally handsy.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. But she seems to fall under his spell. Like all of a sudden, she's kind of like spellbound here. She's something, and she starts.
She's okay with it. She's fine. Sure.
Sure, she's more than okay because they show a glimpse of her face, and her eyes are like all like kind of like open, like she's under like a hypnosis or something like that. And she leans in and kisses him on the cheek. Right as Jamal comes around the corner and sees this, Lisa closes the door to her dressing room as Bones looks over at Jamal and smiles, and his smile grows into an actually pretty goddamn creepy, like, demon smile. And this is probably the best looking effect in the movie, in my opinion. It actually looks pretty good. It's a really creepy looking visual.
And that's the moment I recognize it's Black Hole Sun effects.
Yeah, I say this makes me reminds me more of Black Hole Sun now that you say, because that creepy grin, that smile.
Yeah, but it's that same type of like distortion that they use. And I thought back about the other effects. I'm like, okay, yeah, it makes sense now. It's probably the same engine they use for the Black Hole Sun effects, which was done I think in 93, 94, and this movie's 2000.
Yeah,
so they probably got it on the cheap, and now they're using it 6 years after it's already been invented. But I agree. That's probably one of the better moments.
It's definitely the creepiest moment in the movie. Everything else sucked, but it's definitely the creepiest part. Bones leaves. He walks away. And Jamal enters Lisa's dressing room. Again, Jamal confronts her about his distrust of Bones and the relationship he has with her, that the two of them are forming. Meanwhile, in another dressing room, Pookie and Phil get into a fight over Pookie, I think it's Pookie, drumming on a desk, which pisses off Phil, and they start fighting.
I'm with Phil. That was fucking annoying.
Yeah, it was fucking annoying. Yes, it was.
Yeah, I'm with Phil all the way. That motherfucker just kept rat-a-tat-tatting on the table. It's like, come on, man, fuck off.
I know he is the drummer and he might be nervous, but you can go rat-tat-tat in a different room, in somewhere else. Anyway, Jamal breaks it up, and then Jamal finds Wanda in her dressing room having like some kind of emotional breakdown all of a sudden for like no fucking reason. I don't know what that was about. And he calms her down too. So Jamal just putting out fires and plugging those holes, those leaks.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on at this point.
Now I get Jamal's role. He keeps their shit together.
Yeah. So now everyone is gathered by the stage, ready to go on. And now remember way back when Jamal mentioned that the UP perform in costume? Because that was complete bullshit. Unless you consider regular fucking clothes to be costumes. Because there is no costumes at all in this. They're all just wearing regular fucking street clothes. Like, what? Why even say that? Why? Oh, they perform in costume and then not have them perform in costume.
I was so disappointed.
I know. I thought it was gonna be some kind of like funkadelic, George Clinton. Like, let's have some cool. Nope. It's just hot pants and thigh-high boots, and Pookie's wearing some kind of like neon colored overalls. That's it. And Phil, he looks like a fucking beatnik, like speech poetry guy, like
the spoken word
poet thing. He's just all black, like a black thing on his head. Like, there's no costume here.
Beret. Yeah.
So anyway, Bones takes the stage, introduces the group to the audience, which apparently are supposed to be like the city's elite. Like they're like the fat cats of the city. The group takes the stage and they start playing their shitty little song again. The same one we've heard before. While they play, we see Theodora put some kind of earplug in her ear. And so does this random henchman. Well, I don't think it's random. I think it was the guy that we saw in the basement booth at the very beginning with Theodora and Bones. But I don't know. Some guy puts another earpiece as well. Jamal sees both of them do this, so he's like, oh shit, they're putting earplugs. Something's up. So he's like skedaddle. He starts creeping away to figure this out. So he actually goes into the sound booth, and while Theodora's yelling at him to get out and all that shit, he swipes the keys to the basement, and then follows this white cable that he finds that's coming out of the wall labeled basement.
He swipes the keys, and he also swipes with one of those earplugs.
Yeah.
And she's telling him to get out, or your contract is null and void. Get the fuck out. She wants him out big time.
Yes.
And it's so funny. Outside the booth, there's just two plugs. One that says stage.
Yes.
The other one says basement.
Two cables just with tape. They're just stuck in the wall with tape, with like a label maker tape, and it says sound booth basement. So he follows this white cable that runs like hundreds and hundreds. This cable is the longest cable in the world.
Dude,
I don't know what
tell me about it.
It runs through the entire fucking building, down the stairs, through the basement. It's like some of a Bugs Bunny cartoon, man.
Yes.
It's insane. It's fucking ridiculous. So, of course, he follows it all the way down to the basement, where he finds Bones in his private work area, dressed in his voodoo robes, standing over who I think is Maxie White, laying on an altar, while his two chick henchwomen stand by. Bones rips out Maxie's heart. We get more of that black energy or tiny bats, or where the fuck it is, flying out from the heart.
Tiny bats, yeah.
I don't know what it is. Bones is chanting something at this point in time with the music. I don't know what it is, but he's chanting something.
Yeah, it's in time with the music, and that's the whole thing. It's supposed to be in time with the music.
Yeah.
And I agree. I couldn't make it out. I didn't understand what he was saying. I didn't understand exactly what he was trying to chant. You couldn't understand. It was too distorted and too
mumbly. It was just too mumbly.
mumbly, too shitty. Yeah. And it was a shame because it got at first it was so distorted, it was just a sound. Then you realize he was saying something like, okay, what's he saying? And you never got the fucking answer.
No, you never did. So Jamal at this point, like, it's like his head starts hurting. Like he's like, he grabs, he's like, oh, I got my head. And he puts in like the earpiece and then he slips away unseen and rushes back upstairs. In the sound booth, we have Theodora explaining to that other minion we saw, the one we put the other earpiece in, like basically like doing the villain monologuing about explaining what's gonna fucking happen and how this is gonna happen. So of course I recorded this clip because I didn't want to try to explain it because it's fucking ridiculous. So here's their master plan and how it boils down through the words of Theodora.
You see, the same magic that can control the bodies of the dead is being harnessed through sound to control the minds of the living. Before, though, whenever we tried to mix the chant subliminally with pre-existing music, the results were catastrophic. Each test subject died. We finally figured that we had to mix the music live, the chant being performed at the same time the music is performed. Then and only then will the combination be effective. Music does indeed have an effect on the mental state of the listener. With the addition of the chant, we should have total mind control.
All right, so that's the plan. I guess some kind of living zombies, mind control. Who fucking knows?
Yeah. So they're gonna play this music somehow with the chant of the voodoo, goes with the beat, and it can control people's minds essentially.
Yeah. Now the thing I also found interesting and another missed opportunity was that she said at the beginning that like we found like before the same thing that controls the minds of the dead, we now can control the minds of the living. So apparently they're controlling dead. Like they should have done something to show some like past results. Like here's where I don't know, something about like, okay, there's zombies now or something. Like where's
I like how they just kind of spring this on you.
Yeah, it's like wait, what? There's zombies now? They're controlling dead people? Where? Who? What? Like, well, show me something.
They kind of foreshadowed that with the guy who was having the spasm on the floor. He's like, you were one of my best servants, crushed his heart, and he died. But it was just so shittily done. You didn't understand what was happening.
And it's not really... You don't get zombie from that. He's just a dude. Like, I don't know. It's like...
Well, yeah, it was like, that was weird.
I mean, if that's the logic, if he was a zombie and Bones is holding his heart, then that's the same logic. That means Indiana Jones was a zombie then for a while, doing the whole, when he had his heart pulled out by what's his name, right? Like
Well, Marshall, Indiana Jones's heart never got pulled out. Actually,
that's right. It didn't get. The other guy did. The other dude guy.
It was the guy going, "Oh, Mom Shibai."
Yeah, Homo Shibai. Yeah, Kalima. Yeah, all right. So that guy would have been a zombie then, or something. I don't know. Like what? I don't know. So anyway, it's fucked up, weird ass logic or master plan that is that we'll move on. The UP's performance ends. Lisa looks out over the crowd and sees everyone is just sitting there staring blankly back at her in like this comatose catatonic state. And then Lisa starts even looking a little off a bit. She starts kind of looking in that same blank stare. At this point, which is really weird because it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't get that. I don't get that at all. So, how do I explain this? So, all right. So, if the music mixed with the chant makes everybody who hears it go into like a comatose zombie trance state, okay. But then the whole band should have they're hearing their own music play, so they should have been in the trance too. But if they're in the trance too, then they shouldn't have been able to continue to play their song because they would have been like zombie trance state. So that makes zero sense. And then she's not in a zombie state. She's able to finish the song. And she's like, okay, everything's good. But then when she notices the audience looking back at her like in that trance state, then she now goes into trance state. So it's like, is this like a Medusa effect that you look at the zombie and they turn you? Like it's so weird. Like I don't know what is happening or how this is supposed to be explained. But anyway, at this point,
really like you trying to break down the logic of an urban full moon production. I love the effort that you're putting into it. That's commendable.
Well, thank you. At this point,
bravo.
At this point, Jamal comes running on the stage, telling him that it's over. No more music. We gotta get out of here. And then he too looks out and sees like the messed up audience. Everybody's all weirded out. He says they're all zombies. Like what? Like how do you know they're zombies? Like there's nothing that gives them away. That he first of all, he didn't hear the conversation that Theodora had in the booth with the other guy. He was in the basement. 2, Bones never said anything about zombies down there, I don't think. Like, how would he know they're not walking around like undead, like actual zombies. They're just people sitting there like looking like they're in a coma or something like that. Like
Marshall, you're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate me for this.
Okay.
The earpieces that they put in,
yeah,
had little microphones on them. I don't know if you saw it. They actually had tiny microphones on them, so you can talk to each other. So he could have heard the conversation.
What? No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't. Like they didn't have the friggin' microphones like coming. There's no microphone in those things.
No. They were uber tiny. They were microscopic small microphones on the side.
Okay, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Either one, you are making this shit up and to try to get me, or 2, you're saying this was actually in the movie because I don't remember anybody ever saying anything about, hey, there's a microscopic microphone on these earpieces.
Well, that's a lot of shit they didn't explain in the movie, obviously. So I will screenshot it and send it to you.
Okay, because did they actually say there's a microphone attached to this, or are you just assuming?
No. They did not say that, but there is a built-in microphone that they showed the guy's putting in his ear. It's obviously like a microphone you can talk. Like they make it pretty clear you can communicate through it.
I don't know. I don't think that, but whatever. All right. I don't know about that. We'll move on. At this point, Voodoo Bones and his henchmen all enter the performance space. He says something that makes Pookie and Poopy.
Poopy.
That makes Poopy and Phil turn against Jamal. So they're like, oh, you've been against us from the beginning, and you don't want anything. Yeah, blah blah. You're bad. You suck, Jamal. And then Bones tries to get Lisa to turn on Jamal too, by saying that the crowd loved her and her music. And on that cue, all the audience members stand up and start clapping for her. And that if she walks off the stage now, she'll never get back on it. And so he's like threatening her, but also trying to honey dick her at the same time. I don't know. Lisa starts to walk towards Bones, but Jamal grabs her by the arm and runs off the stage, dragging her behind him. Fuck the rest of the band. He's just getting Lisa out of there.
Dude, yeah, he completely leaves everyone.
Everybody else is just done. Like, that's it. We don't see them again. You do not see them again. I don't think. It's just him and Lisa from here on out. Bones orders his 2 chick henchwomen to go after them, telling them to bring Lisa back alive. Theodore and the other guy at this point, I don't know if he's a minion or like a third partner in their crime. I don't know. But they come up singing the praises of their success and that how after they broadcast this live on that big worldwide broadcast they mentioned earlier, that they're going to rule the world. We're going to rule the world. This sounds like a G.I. Joe Cobra Commander top like plot. Like, we will rule the world. Cobra!
I really hate, again, seems to be a big theme in urban horror. Ruling the world. You know, through shitty R&B music. And what other movie was there? Like when they were Crips. Like, I'm a black vampire who like kind of runs this small neighborhood. I'm going to rule the world. They're always so bent on world domination. Can't you just be happy with your little slice? I mean,
be happy with your ghetto blocks, you know? Come on, just be the big fish in a small pond, you know? You'll be happy with that.
At the same time, you're like, dude, great aspiration, move up to the city. You take over the city, wow, fucking A, that's amazing. You took over the city. But the fucking world, that's a tall fucking order.
Yeah.
That means you have to have people in Japan listening to the Urban Defenders.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's a worldwide broadcast somehow that does this, like, local, like, public radio type guy supposedly has the funds to someone pull off a worldwide broadcast somehow.
I mean, technically, we're a worldwide broadcast.
Again, sort of, but we're not doing it live. But yeah, I guess. But yeah, they don't really. I mean, I assume they don't talk about doing it online, like over the internet. This is back in 2000, so it would have had to been like some kind of like radio or TV.
Yeah,
broadcast.
there's no
fucking way. They did not think the
stupid.
logistics of this through very well. Like they skipped some parts here to make this work. So, anyway, so they're like, yeah, we're gonna take over the world, and then Bones responds saying, us. Yeah, and then he just orders the zombie, quote-unquote, zombie audience to kill Theodora and the other black guy. He takes out their partners.
What an asshole.
Yeah. So the audience just swarm Theodora and the other guy and, like, rip them apart, which you don't really see because there's a mosh pit of people just, like, you know, just crowd around. And
dude,
it.
I love the security that Bones, he's so lax in his security. I mean, because, like, Jamal's able to, like, get into the sound booth, grab the keys, grab the earpiece, go down to the basement, watch Dr. Bones do his fucking mumbo jumbo, jump up on stage, snatch Lisa, walk right past the Black Matrix defenders, and go on his way. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you
man.
think for, again, a guy who's got these diabolical evil plans to turn everybody into some kind of living zombie mind control puppets would have a little better grasp on security to make sure his plans. I mean, goddamn, Jamal's not fucking Sam Fisher or you know, he's just some dude. Like, there's no way he should be.
He's a dude who drinks whiskey out of a paper Dixie cup.
Yeah,
drives a minivan
and manages a shitty local garage band, basically. So anyway, Jamal, for some reason, I don't know why, but he takes Lisa down into the basement instead of out of the fucking building.
So it's like,
instead of running outside, let's run deeper into the bowels of the beast, basically.
It's like our theme song. Instead of running upstairs, they're running downstairs instead of out the door.
Yes, into the basement, where they immediately get attacked by, like, zombie minions, I guess, but Jamal's able to fight them off pretty easily, and they escape. They go to Bones'
they did have one moment where it was like their special effects moment. Lisa all of a sudden is out of her trance.
Yeah.
She's screaming and she's like, oh my God. You know, the Black Matrix attacks. And Lisa slaps the glasses off of one of the gal, and her eyes are shown shut.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Yes.
They did a close-up, and her eyes are sewn shut. I'm like, Jesus Christ. That's like one of the scariest, like, little flashes they have. But I'm like, what the fuck? What does that mean? What am I looking at?
That's a good point. Like, I was looking down. I must have been typing when that happened. But yeah, you're right. That does, and that's a good point. Like, what is? It's a pretty cool little, like, gotcha moment. Like, but they never explain. You never see why. Like, why are these people missing eyes? Why is we see him taking hearts, but why is he going like all like Kane, Jacob Goodnight now, taking out eyes or sewing eyelids shut? I mean, that's never explained. Why is the reason? Why would you want blind zombie minions anyway? How do they see what they're doing? What's happening?
Now that explains it. Now that explains his shitty security. They can't see.
They have no eyes.
All they go is by sound, and they just try and find stuff. They're like goddamn bats.
They're on echolocation like Daredevil.
That's how the bats tie in. It's all bats. It's all sonar. That's what it is. God damn, I'm excited to be back.
So, anyway, so they get the Bones' private, like, work area behind that metal door, and they find a fish tank filled with, like, well, not filled, but in the fish tank are, like, human hearts impaled on sticks. And first of all, there's no water in the tank. It's like these, like, there's, like, 6, I don't know, sticks or something like that, and each one's got a human heart on it.
It's like dry ice fog effect around it.
I don't know if there's dry ice. I think it's just a empty fish tank with hearts in it. Bones and his goons show up. Jamal somehow figures out the hearts in the tank are keeping Bones' minions alive. How he figures this out, no fucking clue. Again, he's got some kind of amazing knowledge base that we just don't understand. I don't get it. So Bones says that he will soon become obsolete and that his neo-zombies won't have to die to serve him. So that the current zombies will be obsolete and they don't have to be dead anymore to serve him. So again, I wish we would have seen some background on how he's making these zombies in the first place, these quote-unquote dead ones, but we never do. He also says something about how zombies bearing him children, which is just fucking weird. I mean, does he really want to fuck a zombie? Like, how is this work? He literally says, these zombies will bear my children or something like that. And that's just fucking nonsense. That's what? Aaron, help me out here. What give me something on that. I can't.
To be perfectly honest, I kind of checked out at this point. I mean, the zombies will be sure they will, pal. We got sewn eyes shut, hearts in cages, hearts in aquariums. Hey nani. Yeah, whatever, pal. I'm ready for this to be over.
All right.
Like I'm not getting too deep.
All right, so at this point, Jamal dashes over to the tank, grabs one of the hearts, and squeezes the heart in his hand. More of those black bat energy shit comes flying out, and one of the chick henchwomen, whatever the fuck this thing is, she screams in pain and then seems like powered down like a fucking robot.
Yes!
And just stands there. Doesn't fall to the floor, just kind of does a robot power down and stands there. Like, what? What is happening? It's so weird. This is so crazy. Jamal then he's like, oh, I got it now. So he grabs the entire fish tank, pulls it down. The glass tank shatters on the floor, which then destroys all the hearts. Even though the hearts aren't really damaged because they're not like, he squeezes the one heart and crushes it in his hand. I get the other one just fall on the floor, and that's enough to just cause all the other zombie henchmen to just scream and start flailing around. Their arms all twitching and flailing around. And he gets some more like the head distorting, warping effects. So I'm like, oh, the zombies they're all going to explode. That's going to be cool. We'll come back to that. Bones charges Jamal at this point, tosses him up against the wall. Lisa attacks Bones from behind, but Bones just turns and smacks her with a back fist, sends her reeling onto Maxie's body on the altar. Which now he comes back to life for some reason. There's a quick glance as she falls on the body, and then his body like sits up like he's a zombie now. But then you never see him again. He doesn't attack her. He doesn't get off the altar and do it. He just sits up like, hey guys, I'm here. And then that's it. Nothing comes of that either. So another missed opportunity there. Jamal leaps onto Bones, but Bones flings him off, then beats Jamal down with his skull cane. Lisa then turns into like Johnny Cage or something like that, and she comes up and kicks Bones with such force. He goes flying backwards into the all like 6 electrical boxes, which of course begin to electrocute him. The classic blue electricity washes and swarms itself like all over Bones' body. Sparks are flying off of him as he screams and twitches. Jamal and Lisa run through the now deactivated zombie henchmen, again, like, you think they're all gonna blow up, right? Like, but no, not all of them. Like, all 6 of them just are standing there like powered down robots.
Down.
And they just run through them, and they're gone. More sparks erupt off of Bones. Upstairs, all the zombie audience members return to normal, along with the rest of the urban protectors, as Jamal and Lisa run back onto the stage. I hope those audience people don't have any memory of what happened, because they're gonna feel real shitty when they realize, oh fuck, we just ripped these 2 people apart and probably ate them. God damn, that would be terrible to remember that.
Like Winter Soldier, I remember everyone.
Yeah.
I remember ripping them apart. They seem pretty cavalier about it.
Yeah, none of them are like, holy shit, what happened? They're just standing like, all right. Jamal, this is the shittiest. It's so fucking lame. So Jamal just stands there. He looks out the audience and says, well, that's our show. That's our show for the night, folks. And then walks off stage with the band as it fades to black. Really? That's what you're going to say? Like, why you would say anything? Just like, guys, we got to get the fuck out of here. Not like, that's our show, folks. Good night. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, or something like that. Like, I don't know. That's so weird. So we cut to Jamal back at his place. Now he's learning to play guitar, because I guess he wants to join the band, because what the things that Pookie and Phil told him about how he doesn't even play an instrument, doesn't, help with the band, I guess got to him now. So now he's learning the guitar, and we see a now pregnant Lisa enter the scene. We find out that they're now married, so it's obviously some time has passed. The doorbell rings. Lisa goes to answer it and brings back a large cardboard box. Jamal opens it up to find another box inside. They lift it up, place it next to their ears, and they start hearing a strange noise that vaguely sounds like heartbeats. And then they both whisper, oh my God. Cut to Bones in his basement, in his robes again, holding a heart in his hand and chanting something that sounds like Jews Super 4. Jews Super 4. I don't know, but that's what it kind of sounds like. I don't fucking know. Blackout. And then we hear Jamal say, all right, let's start the music. Roll the credits. That's the fucking, what is happening? What is that ending? First of all, Bones should be fucking dead, but I'll skim over that. What the fuck was in that box? And I'm hesitant to, what's in the box? What's in the box? Even though I just did it, but I'm sorry I did that. Why? What? Why? I don't know. Like, what would be in there that, one, they would be hearing enough for them to be like, oh my God. And why is it just in a lame cardboard box? If it's a speaker, if it's a beating heart, I don't know. It's fucking lame. This is a terrible ending. Absolute garbage. But anyway, so we roll the credits. Now, if you're like us and you watch this on Tubi, as soon as the credits are over, you're treated to a making of feature, which is pretty lame. It's really fucking short. Because again, like Aaron mentioned, like the runtime on this.
I stopped watching the movie as soon as the started credits roll. I was done. Dude.
Oh no, I watched all of it. Because again, it says like the runtime says like an hour and 51 minutes. Like holy shit! Like by the time the credits roll, there's still like 20 minutes left on the runtime. It's like, what is this? So there's a making of feature. So I started watching it, and it's like 3 minutes long. It's so short. But the whole time, it's just like the director or the writer or producer or somebody is just like, yeah, this is a great effort, and this is a wonderful movie, and we're doing great, and we like to use up-and-coming new faces, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, that's just code for shitty movies who can't get real actors to do them. So we say we get up-and-coming actors. And that's it. And that's basically the making of. That's the whole thing. There's a few behind-the-scenes shots, but nothing. Although the only bit of information I did get from it is that the girl who plays Lisa, she says that she did say that the whole movie was shot in 6 days, which I believe that actually.
Absolutely.
I believe that.
Absolutely.
So that's the making of feature. So if you watch that, shit gets even weirder now because I don't know if this is a glitch on Tubi or what's happening, but as soon as the making of feature's over, you get to watch the entire movie again, only this time in super meth crackhead speed and in reverse. It reverses the entire movie, sped up like fucking Flash on crack. It's so weird. And not just the movie, it takes you all the way through the movie, then through all the fucking ads, trailers, and commercials you had before the movie and start all the way back to the beginning. And once that's over, then you have like 15 minutes of just a gray screen. Like, what is happening? It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen on any streaming movie. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. I'm so weird.
I'm so glad I stopped watching as soon as those first credits rolled. I'm like, done. Boom. I'm so glad I didn't get subjected to that shit.
All right, so that's the movie, guys. Let's move on to our favorite kills.
Don't act like you didn't love it. Favorite kill.
All right.
Favorite kill? There wasn't any goddamn kills in the whole fucking movie, it seemed.
It really aren't. It's terrible. It's pretty fucking. It's atrocious. It's beyond words at this point. What do you got, Aaron?
I'm gonna go with the Playboy in the beginning, who's like, "Play those jams, yo!" Starts bobbing his head, gets the black hole sun effect, and kaboom! His head explodes. It's a shitty head explosion, but at least it's like it gave me a little bit of hope. It gave me a sliver of hope. And then it let me down.
Yeah, 100% right there with you, man. Right, I mean, that's the only kill you can. You really only one you can pick. I mean, you're not gonna pick the random girl getting strangled in the car, Maxie getting his heart ripped out. That's lame because it doesn't even look good. Random dude falls on the floor and dies. That's so the only one you can go with. I mean, even Theodora and the other men just get ripped apart by that, but you don't even see it. So the only thing you can pick is
swarmed. Yeah,
is the opening kill, and just like you're like, okay, it looks shitty, but maybe this is going to be fun shitty. Like, okay, let's see something here. Head's exploding. Okay. And that's it. That it's all downhill from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. That's the only thing. That's the only choice we have this week. So, let's just move on.
Just when you thought it was over, here comes the odds and ends.
All right. So ratings, IMDb gives it a 2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, there is no official thermometer score, but it joins a very small and elite club, the 0% Club. So that's pretty exciting.
Wow. So 0% audience score.
Yes, it has an actual audience score of 0%. Joining some other movies, I think I had these written down at one point. Let me see if I can find it because I actually wrote down the 0% Club somewhere.
Now, for those of those listeners who don't know, I mean, obviously, Rotten Tomatoes is made up of a lot of critics and from different newspapers or articles or blogs or what have you, and they rate movies when they see them. But of course, movies like The Horrible Dr. Bones are so small and insignificant that they don't have bloggers and newspaper writers don't pay attention to it. But they do have audience scores. So when audience has seen it enough, they actually give it a score themselves, and the audience gave it a score of 0.
Yes. So, which, like I said, I found my list of all the other movies we've had on this show that have gotten to our 0% Club. So here we go. Slaughter High, surprisingly, got a 0%. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, 0%. I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, 0%.
Yeah, it sucked.
Drainiac, 0% audience score, because they didn't have a regular, but that's the 0% audience score. Leprechaun 2, Troll 2, Repossessed, surprisingly, got a 0%. And The Horrible Dr. Bones now joins our 0% Club. So
Silent
congratulations, Horrible Dr. Bones, on making the elite list.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. I wouldn't mind going back and looking now and seeing if that isn't like, dude, there's garbage day, sweatshirts, there's all kinds of pop culture around Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. I think it's become more of a fan favorite over the years. I'm curious if it still has a 0%.
Well, now keep in mind, some of those are combined. Some are 0% critic scores, and some are 0% audience scores. So Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 might not have an audience score of 0, but it had a 0% critic. So, but either way, they somehow got made the 0% club in one way or the other. And this one gets to add to it. And then Amazon is 3.3 out of 5.
Of course.
Here's something for trivia. I wish they would have just done this in general, because so this movie was recut and cut down to 25-minute runtime and renamed Demonic Tunes and used in a 2005 anthology film called Urban Evil, A Trilogy of Fear. And that's about right. This movie could be done in about 25 minutes and you would miss nothing.
Dude, that's so funny you mentioned that, because in my final thoughts, I mean, I was going to talk about it then, might as well talk about it now. It felt like a really super long episode of Tales from the Crypt. You know, it felt like
that's
really
a great
long,
way to put it.
It felt like the story wasn't bad. Everything was there. Sure. I mean, you got this guy who wants to take over the world, voodoo, hip hop, whatever, and band unsuspecting. But yeah, there's a lot you could have cut out, and obviously they padded the shit out of it. Yeah, it just felt like a really long episode of like Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, I'll agree with that 100% as well. So I couldn't find the budget. There's no information on that, unfortunately. So let's just move on to Mortal Kombat Combat.
At the end of this day, one shall stand, one shall fall.
Good versus bad. Right versus wrong. Light versus dark. In the end, when the dust settles, who will be left standing after Mortal Kombat Combat?
All right, so on the reviews of Amazon, there are only 15 total reviews on Amazon. 20% are 5-star, with only 9% being 1-star reviews. So here we go. 5 stars from G.C. Jones. Cool, with a K, by the way. Cool is the first word that comes to mind to describe this. See it and you will know the true joy of B movies. Except for a few scenes done poorly. Highly recommended, 5 stars. And then the only one that I got from that actually wrote a review from Michael Flishman. The doctor's in the house! And that's all caps, bold, with like 7 exclamation marks behind it. So moving on to 1 star, and we're going to lead off with a very familiar face or name anyway. The movie guy apparently he's chimed in on this one. We've seen him many times. Dr. Bones can explode heads with music. He has a plan to control the world through hip hop music. Very boring film. Music auditions used as filler, 1 star. So nothing funny, but he gives you a breakdown. But it's movie guy. So from Amazon customer, he writes, one of the worst movies in the world. This movie is very poor. The only good thing about this movie is one song, which is used to turn people into zombies. The plot is simple. The special effects are very poor. Do not buy or rent it. The acting is very poor. Bad script, poor acting make this movie below sci-fi B movies, 1 star. And I'm going to call you out and saying one good song. I will debate you on that one, sir.
You didn't like Hey Nani Nani?
Hey Nani Nani? No, I did not. And then last is from Todd A. Sundell. Horrible is right. This movie had no suspense, an outlandish plot, and absolutely no atmosphere. It was a complete and utter waste of time, 1 star. So not the best or funniest reviews today, but that's what we had to deal with. So that brings us to our take, man. Let's give this doctor a checkup, man. What's your final take on it, man?
I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be doing the podcast again. But at the same time, I'm not happy we did this movie. I have to say it's so bad and scary. But let me just highlight a few points really quick. Oddly enough, I wasn't bored. I didn't get really bored watching it. I did fast forward to the musical parts because I was like, oh shit, they're gonna play the whole goddamn song. 10 seconds. Like 10-second skip, 10-second skip. I'm like, yep. You know, so that helped in me skipping it. But at the end of the day, I wasn't horribly bored. It just felt, like I mentioned earlier, a super stretched out version of a Tales from the Crypt episode. If they condensed it and put it in an anthology, which apparently they did, it could have been, you know, kind of fun, you know, something kind of different. But to try to make it a feature film and all the sad ass padding and weird like effects that were just shitty, it just smacks of Full Moon fun, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not fun enough for me to enjoy it to give it so bad it's good. Avoid it. Don't watch it. To be perfectly honest, at the end of the day, it's just disappointing because I felt like they had something. I felt like they could have had something with those flashback scenes we commented on. You could have had something with like the slow reveal of Dr. Bones being an evil genius. You know, exploding heads you showed at the beginning. You could have had more of those. Yeah. It's just disappointing of what could have been. So yeah, so bad it's scary.
I'm 100% agree with you. So bad it's scary. This is not it's just not good, man. It everything about it sucks. Like now, I don't know if I was necessarily that bored, but yeah, it's not really entertaining either. Luckily, I mean, the real runtime of the movie is only like an hour and 15 minutes or something. It's not quite a full lengther, but you can skip a lot of this movie. And I agree. Like when they cut it down to 25 minutes, that's probably right. This should be just an episode of Tales from the Crypt or a part of an anthology, just a short thing and be done with it. It probably would have been okay-ish. I'll say that. I also, like I said, we commented before, but I definitely think they did the big Dr. Bones evil voodoo look reveal way too soon. Like what they should have done, the perfect reveal for that would have been when Jamal sneaks down into the basement and sees him rip the heart out of Maxie White. That should have been the first time we see Bones in his full evil voodoo getup. That would have been the big reveal. Yes. That would have been great there. Not in a meaningless throwaway shot like 20 minutes earlier or something, like whenever it was. But yeah, the effects are bad. The acting's bad. The plot's pretty lame and weak. The music's not even good. There's really nothing really redeeming about this movie that I can suggest to watch. So yeah, I'm saying so bad it's scary to take a pass on it. All right, so that's it, man. We're back. We took a hiatus. We're back. I know, Aaron, this was a crazy movie to start come back to, but this has been on our list for a while, and since we came back kicking off Black History Month, I figured this is the good time to do it. And if you hated this one, I can't wait for you to get your thoughts on next week's movie. I'm excited about that one. I will tell you this.
I always like Black History Month. I like doing the urban horror movies. And, you know, I've always wanted to do like Tales from the Hood or something like that, but those are they're a little too good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe we should do Bones. And we've actually had a fan who wrote in saying we should do all the Killjoys. Just sit down.
Well, that would take more than a whole month. We could do like a Killjoy, like a rapid fire one. Like we wouldn't be if we didn't do a full episode in every movie, we could knock them out. But we already did Killjoy 1, and if we started at 2, I thought about that and started moving on. But at one point, like they start getting away from horror, and they start going into like more like almost comedy. Like it's just weird shit. But anyway, so I will say I will drop one hint. Well, I'd say one thing. The movie we're doing next week, I actually have to bring over to you because I had to buy it on DVD and I have to drop it off at your house. And 2, I have one word hint for you, and keep it to yourself because I'm not saying what it is on air. But all I'm going to say is holla, and that's my word. That's my hint for next week's movie.
Motherfucker, I know exactly what you mean.
So that's going to do it for us, guys. We're glad to be back. Thanks for listening. If you're still with us, I'm glad. Thank you for sticking with us. Hopefully you guys everybody else come back. Get your Moon Goons back on track. I don't know what I'm saying now. I'm rambling. It's been a while. I'm kind of out of the flow of this, so I'm just going to shut up. We're going to end this right now. So till we're back next week, you guys remember what to do. Watch more horror movies, and remember to always keep it tight.